des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur, il me parle de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est moi pour toi, toi pour moi dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, moi j'irai pour la vie.
1845, the same month as the letter was written, Kavanagh brought Hilda off with him on a day trip down to visit Lord Dunsany at Dunsany Castle in County Meath. Patrick had two great career options. If he was living now, he would have three. One would be to win the lotto. The second one would have been to win major money on horse. The third was to marry a very rich
that I might one day rule. I saw the danger, yet I passed along the enchanted way. And I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. Down Grafton Street in November.
In a letter to a friend, Dorothy observes, John, who is to be a sailor, has a most excellent heart. He is not as bright as William or Christopher, but he has very good common sense, and he is very well calculated for the profession he has chosen. As captain of the East Indiaman, Earl of Abergavenny, John lost his life when the ship was wrecked off the Dorset coast in 1805 due to a miscalculation on the part of the naval pilot. John apparently acquitted himself with great courage and presence of mind, with the result that nearly half of the ship's company was saved. His body was found 6
I said, repeating myself. What? He said, repeating himself. From the bemused look on his face, I deduced that Seamus was a newcomer to the Irish poultry scene. I figured he had never been to a poultry festival before. Don't you worry your head, Seamus, I said. No need for you to feel ashamed just because you haven't got a bog's notion about poultry. Believe me, Seamus, most of these people here, they're just like you. They haven't got a clue. They're just pretending that they do. You see, Seamus, believe it or not, the Irish poultry world is full to the very top with bluffers and bullshitters. It is my love. It is my love. Love. It is my love. It's us.
Called Wild. So I took a walk on that side, as the imperative suggested. And what I found wasn't at all like they said it would be. I found, amongst barbed wire and discarded inner tubing and other rubberized detritus of wild living. Things that people call natural or wild. The empty shells of beech nuts, lots of sodden leaves trodden flat, part of the carcass of a wild thing, which I think might once have been a mouse, but maybe it was a sheep.
Yeah, I'm like scheduled to rob an orchard this afternoon.
Yeah, and I have to be Galvo after lunch, and what I don't need in my life is more meat.
Look, I know, guys, your time is valuable, right? But I've just got something really important that I want to discuss with you, and I've been thinking about it like since this morning, you know?
Jesus, Jack.
I'm sorry, but wasn't this morning like ages ago?
Yeah, I know it was, right? But look, I've just been thinking about this, and it's why I asked you to come over to the Playroom today, and I think we should discuss the possibility of us liking girls.
No way.
Gross.
Fag.
No, there's no need for that kind of insensitive language, fucker, right?
You're interested in liking us.
Well, we're interested in discussing that possibility, yeah.
And you're ready to discuss terms?
That's why we're here.
Excellent, baby. Thank you.
I've got an iPad. And I can speak Italian. Grazie molto bene.
I went down to Sammy's bar. Hey, the last boats are leaving down by the shores of Pietar. All the way that died so. And my real love, she was there. Hey, the last boats are leaving. There was sand all in her hair. All the way that died so.
John was Jesus' favourite, my mother told me. The patron saint of printers and tanners and typesetters. He was the only one to stay awake in the garden while our Lord sweated blood. After the crucifixion, the emperor brought him to Rome to be flogged and beaten and thrown in a cauldron of boiling oil. They tried to poison him with wine, but the poison rose to the surface in the shape of a snake. In the end, they banished him to Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. One stark morning, colder than usual, we looked out and saw those flowers were stricken by a late fall of frost, their frail remains preserved in sepulchral white. My mother pulled a coat on over her nightgown and walked through those deathly petals. Her garden's garlands turned to shriveled reeds. Disappointment pained her face for a moment, but she banished it with a throw of the head. That's the way, she said, and fumbled for a packet of fags. Things die, so things are born.
grew lonely to see his brother, and so he sent his vizier, his chief minister, to invite Shahzaman to visit him. Shahzaman was delighted, and he spent 10 days preparing a convoy of elephants to make the long journey. At the end of the 10th day, He went back into his palace to say goodbye to his wife. He searched all over, calling for her, cooey, but couldn't find her anywhere. At last, he ventured into the bedchamber, and there, to his horror, Shahzaman saw his wife in bed with one of the kitchen boys.
Under the sun, see the birds, see myself in everyone, sitting on